Job security in 2025? Yeah, right. And I bet you have a leprechaun riding a unicorn in your backyard. 'Cause that's about how realistic it is. There's no job security in 2025. Job security back in the day, for those who are fortunate to have it, remember that the way it went? You had a steady paycheck. One steady paycheck. And that steady paycheck, that was enough to do the American dream that everyone's heard about. You know, the wife, the kids, the one house, car, annual vacations, the white picket fence, all that in one steady paycheck. That sounds like a pipe dream nowadays. So job security back in the day, yeah, steady paycheck. Every few years, you get a promotion, a raise. If you're lucky, you get annual bonuses. And then 30, 40 years later, you retire. Pension. Now, all you youngins out there, you're like, what the hell's a pension? Yeah, there you go. That says it all. Pension. You're Gen X or younger, there's no pension. And nowadays, you are lucky to even have a 401k for the minuscule hope of having a retirement. So, that was job security back in the day. What does job security look like now? Well, you'd have to redefine it for it to mean anything. Truth about job security now? There is none. What do we have? Layoffs. And this year alone, we've seen a ton of layoffs. All the big tech companies, all the big boys, Amazon, Walmart, the banks, Microsoft, they're all doing layoffs. Thousands of people laid off. Probably gonna do a video on that. So we got a bunch of layoffs. Let's see what this guy has to say about how he's dealing with the current state of the job market and job stability, security that we only hear about. Most of us, have never seen it.
There is no such thing as job security. A lot of people have said they've been going to big companies so they can get job security, and they're finding out that does not exist. Google, Facebook, all of these large tech companies are laying people off right now. Let me tell you a story about a family friend. He has worked at Foot Locker for 20 years. He has put a great portion of his life and time into that company, and he just got shit canned this week. Can you imagine working 20 years at a company and just getting, hey, we're letting you go, and you're in your 50s? It's too late to start over. It's just a horrible situation. And I've known this for a long time because, my family, we got started, being entrepreneurs after, my grandfather got screwed working for the same company, always got screwed on his bonus. And my dad saw that growing up. And he says, that's not going to be me. And as soon as he started working for a company and got screwed, he started his own business. And at the end of the day, it is very risky running your own business. You're responsible for everything. But I think there's way more security in owning your own business because at the end of the day, I think you are always going to get screwed working for someone else. I see it with my friends. It's Christmas time. They work for these real estate companies. They always get screwed on their bonus, their commission. So at the end of the day, I recommend starting your own business. It's going to be 10 times more work than working a 9 to 5, but you are going to have more security in the long term. And especially we're about to enter another, recession, depression, and these companies have no loyalty anymore, and they are going to be laying off everyone. And it makes economic sense. Someone that's been there for 20 years, they built in a high salary, their healthcare is higher. They are the first ones to go. They will hire new graduates to do the same job for half the price. So look at starting a business if you want to be, financially free because, this myth of working for a big company and having job security is a joke. So follow me, the Bitcoin Capitalist, if you want to learn more about Bitcoin.
All right. Well, you heard him. Even his dad and grandfather. So you're talking a few generations behind. Even back then, they're getting screwed over. You got canned after 20 years, and that's a previous generation. So it's been crumbling for years, for decades actually. It's completely non-existent now for job security. Unlike back in his grandfather's day, yeah, they would have job security. I mean, not everything's perfect. Obviously, some people still got canned, but as a whole, they had the stability of job security for many, industries where it's completely non-existent now. He's definitely right about starting your own business. I'll discuss some of that later in the video, but he made some good points. This is where we are. This is what you got to do to survive. So you have the no loyalty coming from your employers. No job security. Hasn't been that way in a long time. And then we have AI being introduced. And look at what AI is doing to all the low-level jobs. College graduates, they have a difficult time getting a job. I did a video on that because they're getting hit. We have a perfect storm. I mentioned that in that video. There's a perfect storm going on because there's so many different variables that's affecting what we're doing here. The job market, the workforce, society as a whole. There's a lot of crap crumbling. AI is coming in. So it is wiping out those entry-level jobs where many people get their break when they enter the workforce. AI is wiping that out, and it's doing it very fast. And there's no end in sight. So the people coming right out of college, they got an additional challenge that previous generations didn't have. We didn't have to deal with AI taking entry-level jobs. Because that's how you got your foot in the door with your career, to get the career started, pick up some experience. Now, it's not happening so often. AI. Let's see what they have to say about AI.
There's no job security for any job occupation in the next 5-10 years. Everything will be automated faster and greater than ever. That is more important than ever for us to all come together with unity and understanding of how we can change and sustain the life we live on this planet.
Yeah, AI. That guy's probably experiencing some AI issues with the way everything's going because it's everywhere now. It's applying for a job. AI is involved because on both ends, the recruiter, the systems they put in place, people are now wising up. They're implementing AI to format the resume to make it more friendly to get picked up. Because it used to be just the ATS systems picking up, searching for keywords in your resume. Now AI is doing the job for the recruiters because they're going, oh, hey, we did a job post on LinkedIn yesterday. This morning, we come back to the office, take a look at the job post. Oh, we got, 800 people applied for it. Now, you think they're really going to sift through 800 resumes? No. They're going to use AI, sift through all that pile. That's just where we are right now. So with job security today, not at all what we knew in the past. And everyone knows it. It doesn't matter what your age. You should be 18. You could be 55. It doesn't matter. It's affecting all of us. So another point in job security, or the lack thereof. Do you notice in the workforce in the past few years, I've personally seen this in my career, contract work. Contract work is replacing the full-time employee. And it's a money thing. It's a money game because what is the employer doing? It's like, you know what? We have, let's say, project, massive amount of effort needed, but it's only needed for maybe 6 months, maybe a year. Why hire a full-time employee and pay benefits and keep them around this job done? No. You want a quick fix, you're going to use somebody. So you use them, you whip out a contractor. Get a contract, you don't pay the benefits, you get in, get out. You can fire them like that. You're out of here today. There's no tomorrow. There's no paperwork the employer has to deal with because he's a contractor. That's where we're standing, guys. That is what we're facing. It's not looking pretty. And the problems keep compiling. It's not as if it's just one problem we have to deal with. The job market, no. There's a ton of problems. Because if you look at any aspect of the workforce, the economy, society as a whole, we have problems everywhere. And it's not as if society can go, okay, we're going to focus on this one issue because we can knock it out. No, you can't because you're getting hit from all sides. It's never ending. So let's take a look at what this person has to deal with.
You don't know if you're going to have a job in 6 to 12 months with AI. You don't know if you can afford your bills, your rent, your car payments, food. Like you said, egg prices are going through the roof. It's like $10 for an egg or something now. Gas prices are through the roof. The economy, inflation is still high. It just seems like harder and harder to get ahead, to stay ahead, and to get more than month to month ahead. So now more than ever, there's uncertainty and fear, and it seems scary. But it's also a time of great opportunity if you can have clarity on what you want, why you want it, and where the money's going to go. I think a lot of people think it needs to be hard and stressful to make money, and it needs to be complicated. And it doesn't need to be complicated. You just need to learn the tools and have the courage to be curious to understand more.
Well, he's spoken some generalities, but you get the gist of what he's talking about. Life is a pain in the ass right now. It's basically what he's saying. It's the whole thing, kind of what I just mentioned before I played the video. We're getting hit on all sides, so it's not as if it's just one thing people have to focus on. Life's hard right now, harder than it should be for just getting by day to day, just doing the basics of life. It's a huge pain right now. It's a challenge for most of us out there. Unless you're wealthy, all of us have problems. When you speak in generalities of, have clarity, know what you want. Yeah, if you could define a path on how you're going to tackle what we're dealing with right now with no job stability, you're much better off. The generalities is because he's only saying, okay, have a plan. Sure, we can have a plan. You got to get specific. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? How are you going to bring in money? How are you going to bring in money the way things are right now? Because job security back in the day was that one paycheck. That one paycheck did it all. Doesn't happen anymore. Look at how many people go online and you see the endless amount of videos and people have a regular job during the day and then they do the gig work. Why are they doing the gig work? Because they can't make ends meet anymore with one job. Shouldn't be that way, but that's what we're facing right now. So we have to get creative. We have to start thinking outside the box, like they used to say. What can we do to survive? Things like what I'm doing right now, that's one method to do so. And if you look at the big picture and how everything's changing and we're getting hit from all sides, we're also global now. So we have a global workforce. Remote work has been around. It's been quite popular in recent years. And all that did was open up the door even wider to what's been going on for a few decades, where we're hiring foreigners. Just recently, Microsoft, they canned 3,000 employees. And at the same time they can their American employees, they're requesting for more H-1B visas. Now, is that a coincidence? So, the H-1B visa is supposed to be about, hey, there's not enough Americans to fill these job openings. So we have to look outside of the United States to get the roles filled. Now, make that make sense. You lay off 3,000 people, and then you're looking over at India for the jobs. Everyone knows what's going on there. They know what's going on. They're getting rid of your high salary, and they're going to pay far less for a guy on the other side of the world. Welcome to the global market. Let's check out this video. Okay, so employers will spend thousands of dollars hiring people that will quit a week later, but won't give the dedicated employees a raise that they deserve. Well, that goes right in line with what I talked about with H-1B visas, Canada American, hiring some on the other side of the world for half the salary or less. They're not investing in employees anymore. Employers are going, rather than give John a raise who's been here for 5 years, who never received a raise from us, he's doing a good job. Now, we're not going to deal with that. We're just going to can him and take a huge chance on a new person. Yeah, and they're doing that for the bottom dollar. They're saving money, but it's a huge risk involved there because what it takes, the investment it takes to train, to hire someone new, that takes time, effort, money. And it's a risk because that new employee, they're an unknown. Are they going to do a good job? Are they going to tear up the joint? You have no idea, so it's a risk. But they're so dead set on saving that dollar right now, they're risk everything else. Just slide everything off that desk. We don't care. We're not focused on anything, but what are we saving right now? How much money are we saving by doing this? That's all it is. Let's check out a comment on that video. Lay off a dedicated employee and hire a replacement at half the pay. That's exactly what I talked about. That's so true. It's what we're dealing with. I'll never understand the logic with this. And the cost to hire and train a new person versus paying the good talent you already have trained. Make it make sense. Exactly what I was saying. That's what we're dealing with, everybody. That is what we are dealing with. Okay, and lastly, what does job security look like and what is it today? Obviously, it's not what it was up until now. Job security. Most companies no longer want to promise long-term careers. That's the truth. That's why I mentioned the contract workers. The H-1B visas were being replaced for much cheaper employees. They pretty much just want to use it. They want to take that orange, squeeze it for every drop of OJ juice that they can get. The orange juice, every last squeeze. When that drop is gone, that last drop is out in that glass, you're done. That dried up, old, rotting orange is what's left of the employee. They don't need you anymore. Off you go. Oh, but remember, when you get hired, they're always saying, we're like a family here. You know, you matter to us. That's until, a year later down the road, you're at home on Friday night and they text you, don't bother coming to the office Monday. You're fired. It's the world we live in, guys.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but there is no company loyalty in 2024. This is not the same generation that your grandparents grew up in, where you can work a job for 5, 10, 15, even 20 years and retire nicely. Nowadays, it doesn't matter if you've been an employee for 5, 10, or 15, 20 years. If it makes sense on the company's bottom line, they will lay you off in a heartbeat. Even the companies that say that they treat you like family, or companies that say they want to invest in you long term during the interviews, they are lying to you. The moment they figure out a way to get the same work that you're doing done cheaper than you doing it, they will figure out a way to get you out of the organization. Now, for some of you in the comments, you're going to say this is really obvious, but a lot of people have bought into these corporate lies. You see, for the last decade or so, corporate culture has become about belonging and being a part of something bigger, and companies will constantly say that they want to invest in you long term. But it's just not the truth. 2022, 2023, and 2024 have shown us that companies will lay you off without any second thought. Literally, the only person that you can count on in your career is you.
That's it in a nutshell. Look at the comments. You give your all and they take it, no loyalty. True. You know the whole, I'm going to be a good employee. I'm eager about doing a good job on this new opportunity that I have. So I arrive early, leave late. You think that's going to do you any good. You think the employer is going to keep that in mind when he cans you after 6 months when they got the work that they wanted out of you. You think they're going to have that thought in their mind that, oh, he was such a good guy. He showed up early, stayed late, he worked weekends. Right. People have been fired from my office. Zero explanation. This is so dystopian. Yeah. Why are they going to give you any info on it? That's just business as usual for these guys. Your family and you matter on the day you get hired. Just go through the process. This is what they really think of you. You've always been just a number. That was my last job. People just disappear and management acts like they never existed. If you mention them, they'll always say, I can't talk about it. It's like a bad horror movie. Yeah, it is. That's where we are, folks. So what are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? Well, job security today is not what it's always been in the past. I defined it at the beginning of this video. It doesn't exist anymore. Like I said, you would have a leprechaun riding a unicorn in your backyard if you think job security as we know it exists today, because it doesn't. What can we do about it? Not a whole hell of a lot, but like anything in life, you take care of what you can control, which is very little in this world and our lives. whatever you can control. So you can just obtain some marketable skills. That's always been true, even before this hell that we're living in now. Pick up a new skill. If you're in tech, that's pretty straightforward on what you need to do, picking up a new skill. That always helps because it definitely ain't gonna hurt. If you're unemployed and you have the time, you can invest in yourself by learning something new. Learning AI, the thing that's taken most of our jobs. Yeah, learn AI. Why not? Multiple income streams. Sad but true. You got to do multiple income streams nowadays because, like I said at the beginning of this video, remember that one job John Smith in 1972 went to the factory, one steady paycheck, bought a house, a car, annual vacation, 2 kids, a happy wife. Life was good. 40 years from then, he's retiring with a pension. Gone. Nowadays, multiple income streams. And a lot of us are doing that now just out of necessity. You have your 8 to 5 job you go to. The paycheck's too puny. Doesn't cover the basics. So what do? Gig work. Get that extra little bit of cash to make ends meet. But hopefully you get past that. You want that extra stream of income because you want to get ahead. Why are we doing all this work? Just to live life covering the basics, meaning we're existing, we're not living. All of us want to live. Hell, go on social media and look at all the fake lives they've generated because they're showing you they're putting their best foot forward. They make you think that they're going on these extravagant vacations. But deep down, everybody wants a piece of that kind of life. It's just it's not reality for most of us. We don't have the bread for it. Of course, you can get into a whole nother topic for another video talking about how people go on vacations and rack up credit card debt because they want to go on vacation. But that's a topic for another video. What else can we do in this market? Build a presence online, a brand. That goes hand in hand, parallel with multiple income streams. You could do online videos like what I'm doing right now. You could do those things, build a brand. That's not for everybody. But if you got the time, especially if you're unemployed, it doesn't hurt to give it a shot. Work on your professional network. That's another thing you can do. That's always been a staple. If you foster and nurture a professional network in the good times and the bad, you might be able to tap into that as a resource when you need it. But you got to keep in mind that networking, as it's been known, has been a certain way. And the way I've taken it in my career is network is really just about using people. Because you will have a network, you'll know some people, but you don't nurture that relationship with, maybe you're spending time with them, remember their birthdays or kids, what have you. It's just oh yeah, that guy works at such and such company. I'm going to contact him next time I get laid off. And what do? You don't talk to him for a year. And then you hit him up when you're unemployed. Hey, man, remember me from back in the day? Yeah, I'm looking for some work. Got anything going on at your office? You got to do better than that. Otherwise, that's just a use and be used type of deal. You got to put some effort in that, put some time. If you know anybody that have a network. Some people don't even have a network. I don't blame you because a lot of people in the office that you work with probably don't like it. I know I ran into a lot of that because it depends on the industry that you work in. Your personality may not fit the industry you work in. So maybe you have a network, maybe not. If you do, nurture it, tap into it. In a nutshell, what's job security in 2025? I would say job security in 2025 is all of us, whether you're 18 or 50. Bottom line, adaptability. We have to adapt to the hell that we are enduring right now in life. Because it isn't life, it isn't just job market. Life in the United States is not easy right now for many different reasons. So how are we going to manage it? Manage what we can control, be adaptable. That's what I would say would be your best bet. Be adaptable. And whatever that personally means to you, what's your interest? Can you try to make some money off that? Can you get a passive income going or a second income revenue stream? Can you get that going with one of your hobbies, one of your passions? We got to start thinking out of the box here, folks, because it ain't changing. If anything, this stuff's getting worse. Well, it doesn't even matter what to say about the unemployment numbers because we know that ain't true. That's pretty much a big fat lie. with the way they provide the unemployment rate. I did a video on that. You might want to check out the unemployment rate because that's a joke. So, what are you guys doing out there right now to survive this hell that we call life in America right now? The United States kicks ass, but it's tough right now to get by day to day. So, share your experience, leave a comment, like the video, and let's see what we can do for the rest of this year into 2026 on making job security stronger any way we can and the way we know it nowadays. All right, it was a good chat. I'll see you guys in the next round.